results mean Serbia, well, 2 points taken off them here in Dublin. Portugal, who won earlier on today in Baku against Azerbaijan, well, they now lead by 2 points, and the Republic of Ireland with their second point of the campaign. Next round of Group A fixtures, the 9th of October, when the Republic of Ireland travel to Azerbaijan and Luxembourg welcome Serbia. Interesting to note, at the end of that game, Stephen Kenny sent, and you can still see them there, his players around to show their appreciation to the support to the crowd here tonight. 4,000 up on the weekend for the Azerbaijan game, and certainly it felt like it was probably 150,000 here at times, never mind 25,000. Liam Brady and Richie are here. Stephen will join us in due course. But Liam, beforehand we were saying, look, the result isn't all that important. I know we've drawn with Serbia, which is a really good result, but it was all about the performance that you wanted to see. What did you see?
Well, I thought we were good the first half, Dara. I was a little bit scared in the second half for 20 minutes that we were going under. We all got a bit ragged, and I actually thought the crowd got us going again. The atmosphere in here this evening was tremendous, and I think the crowd sensed that the team needed a hand, and they got really behind him. And add on top of that Bazuna's performance, which kept us in it, because the Serbs had 2 or 3 really, really good opportunities to score, but he denied them. And after that, you could sense that the Irish team felt there was something there for us, and they pushed on, and they got their just rewards. I wouldn't agree now with George or Stephen that it was a fantastic performance. I wouldn't go that far, but it was certainly very, very encouraging, and an endorsement for Stephen Kenny, I have to say.
Okay, well that's very interesting, because Richie, I know beforehand we spoke about, every match under Stephen Kenny is like a referendum in him and his vision for Irish football. Well, tonight the vote is Kenny yes, is it?
I go along with everything Liam said there. I mean, the performance first was... It was better, certainly, than we've seen. The atmosphere, I don't know if people can tell from watching this from home, but the noise and the atmosphere and the role that the crowd played towards the end, it's the strongest finish I've seen from us in a long, long time. I think Stephen was right to tell the players to go around to the fans, because he spoke so long during COVID, when this place was empty, that it would be different when the fans come back, and we'll give a performance that the fans will want to see and be proud of. And I think a load of the players gave their shirts away as well. So this was the scenes we wanted at the end, rather than the kind of
we weren't sure what kind of happened at the end of the
Azerbaijan
game. Was it booing, or who were they booing? Was it the referee? But there was certainly, there's still a big number of supporters inside the stadium now.
There is, and look, it was a good night. I think George said at the end, I think this is a corner turned. We're not in that territory yet. It was a good performance. It was a point that was well deserved. It was a strong finish, and we're leaving here with a lot of hope and a lot of positivity. But we have to build on it now in the next game and the next game after that. So really good night, and the debates, I'm sure they're raging now, that this is absolutely Stephen Kenny's nailed on to get the job now for the next tournament, or it's not enough because we didn't win. But
that works both ways. What we said beforehand, they will wait until the end before making a judgment.
I tell you, one of the things I don't think, and Stephen made this point earlier this week, and we showed his comments at the start of the programme, he kind of said, did anyone actually think we were favourites to qualify? Did anyone think we would actually qualify? I don't think. I didn't, and I haven't met any people who have, and I've met no one who said we're favourite to qualify and we should criticise the manager for not qualifying. This campaign was about other things, and it was more than just about whether or not Stephen Kenny is the right man in charge. It was about whether we could find players and see if certain players could emerge. And we've seen tonight more examples of Gavin Bazunu in goal. It looks like he could have that shirt for years. I know he's only a young man and careers can go all sorts of ways from the age of 19, but he gave a performance again which is a real statement. And Andrew Omobamidele was superb again in only his second cap, up front at Amida as well. So I think we're seeing players emerge that we can be really positive about.
Okay, it's finished 1-1 between the two countries. Stephen Kelly has joined us back here in the presentation position, described earlier as the best dressed man in the commentary position. Not sure if you have that tag now here when you've come back with us. I know you do, of course. We'll chat with Stephen in due course, but Liam, let's look at the equalising goal. Another late equaliser for the Republic of Ireland in the Aviva.
Yes, Dara, and down to a set piece again, albeit a throw in. We pushed our big men up. They caused problems in the box. Horgan gets a good ball in. Duffy goes for it. They panic a bit. Savage just tries to boot her away. I suppose it's understandable the last couple of minutes, but he kicks it straight against his teammate Milenkovic, and there was the break that Ireland so badly needed. We've needed a break like that for the last 3 games, and we got it, and our effort deserved it. And the crowd deserved it, and Gavin Bazunu deserved it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like Stephen, you were up on the commentary gantry. Like, it felt like there was an awful lot more than 25,000 people here.
Oh, it was sensational, and the crowd fed off the play, the team fed off the fans, and so nice to have that atmosphere backing around here. And to think it was only half capacity, but up in every chance we went forward, they were willing the players on, and just all around I think we put in a really good performance. So it's nice to see, and for the crowd to be here to witness it was wonderful too.
And Richie, as well, I suppose when you reflect, I mentioned earlier on that there was 4,000 more fans here than there were on Saturday for the Azerbaijan game. I know Serbia are a bigger draw, they've more household names in their team, but it's still telling, is it not, that there was a bigger crowd here than there was on Saturday, considering what had happened last weekend and the pressure that people were under and all that stuff?
No, I don't think there was ever a question that there wouldn't be that amount here tonight. I mean, when you think of, it's been so long since the crowd has been allowed to come in here, and there's so large numbers out there of people who are still fully behind this team, still fully in support of the manager. I don't think we should make an issue of the fact that there was 25,000 here, or that there was more here from Saturday. But what they got to see and the role that they had in the team's performance, particularly at the end, I think was significant as well.
Why shouldn't we make an issue out of it?
That's 25,000 people. Like, there's lots of talk.
All you're allowed.
There's lots of talking points around.
That's as much as you're allowed.
There's lots of talking points around a game like this tonight, but to comment on the fact that we sold 25,000 seats for an Ireland international a year
Richie,
and a half.
that's all they're allowed under the regulations. But my point about it is that if there was a disconnect between a section of the fans, you would have had a smaller crowd here tonight than there would have been on Saturday. I think you missed my point.
I think, I suppose we're touching here on the wider issue about how divided the footballing culture seems to be in this country at the moment, and I think there are still a lot of people who need to be won over by this team and need to be won over by the approach of the management, and there's loads of people, everyone here tonight, who don't. So I think yes, I see the point you're trying to make, but I don't think that's an issue from what we saw here tonight.
What about you, Liam?
Well, I think Stephen Kenny's press conference yesterday, I think, got a lot of people on his side. He was very, very strong in what he says he believes in. He's planning for the Euros a year down the line. He knows that it was going to be very, very difficult to qualify from this group, and I think people realise that's the case, and the fact that he came out and said it as plainly as he did, I thought got the fans on his side, to be quite honest. I've spoken to a few people, and they commented that he didn't do himself any harm by what he said yesterday. So I think the crowd wanted to get behind him today, and they wanted to get behind the team, and they wanted to make sure that Bazunu didn't finish up on the losing team. He was so wonderful, Dara. I keep going back to him. He was incredible. But no, the Irish fans will always support their team. I think no matter who the manager is. But I think Kenny has done himself no harm with his press conference yesterday and the performance tonight.
Yeah, I think as well, Stephen, I think a couple of people I spoke to were saying they were kind of surprised to hear him say it out loud. That, like, sure, of course, we all knew they were not the favourites in this group, but it was just the fact that we were so far behind those two teams. And it was just to hear him say that actually out loud, to articulate that. We're all thinking it, but to hear an Irish manager say it out loud jarred with some people, not everybody, and certainly not Richie or Liam. Yeah,
I suppose it was the manager having a realisation to where we currently are, but I think this performance is a benchmark to where we need to be. And if we play like this against Azerbaijan and Luxembourg, we wipe the floor with those teams. We are so far better than what we were in those games, and that was a tactical decision. He got the players wrong in the game against Azerbaijan. I'm not too sure what happened there, but it wasn't. But this is what he has to build on, and that fighting performance he put in yesterday in the conference was evident today in the game with the players. They were all on it. They were all pressing. They were all passing. They were all confident and comfortable getting on the ball, and if we want to move forward as a nation, that's how we have to play.
I can't agree with that. I can't agree with. Sorry, Stephen. I can't. Didn't think we were comfortable on the ball or playing the ball through the lines.
I thought Obama was excellent 1-2 situations. I think in the first 10 minutes.
You're talking about our midfield. Our midfield made mistake after mistake after mistake in the first 20-25 minutes. And I'll go back to what I said earlier on. The crowd began to help them. They sensed that this team needed help, and the crowd got behind them. It wasn't the fans feeding off what they were seeing. Eventually, it was at the end. But I can't agree with Stephen there.
I think you're underestimating how well we performed, because there's times in the game there was pass possession. Gavin Bazunu started most of it with his passing, because his passing was exceptional. For a goalkeeper of his age, he was wonderful. But our centre-back, Obama Diele, was able to play 1-2 situation, pass it to him, get out. And some of our best chances were created from us playing the ball through the lines all the way through midfield. Matt Doherty getting on it, was able to play forward the ball. Even Shane Duffy at points was getting the ball centre of the park and was confidently passing the ball. I'm not saying this is going to happen week in, week out every time we play, but I think we have to give them more credit than what we've given them. I think at times we played some really good football, and it wasn't just playing forward quickly, it was actually passing.
No, I'm not being negative. I think you're exaggerating how well we played, Stephen. I think we actually played better in Portugal than we did tonight.
I think Serbia were a better side than what Portugal were. I think Serbia posed more threats in the final third with the way they played the ball in and around us than what Portugal did.
Richie?
I think if you look at the performance, I think we'll remember the barnstorming finish, the atmosphere, the noise, the celebration. I mean, the goal was there was a comic element to the goal. Like for one defender to boot it off his teammate and to go in. Yes, it's a result of us piling on the pressure and Duffy making a nuisance of him and the ball going into the box. But if you look back at the box, they created way more than we did. They look way more dangerous than we did. Goodell in midfield, I think myself and Liam were speaking about it during the game. He had so much of the ball, controlled it so often, barely gave it away. And in midfield, I don't think we ever had a spell for too long where we dominated possession. But we got the result. Like this seems to be this never-ending conversation. Doesn't matter how we play, or doesn't matter what the final score is. Tonight, we had a combination of both. Yeah. We got a result which gave us a point, a morale-boosting performance, a lot of pleasing elements, particularly from individuals. I agree. Obama Daly, like the potential that fella has based on the little we've seen him from him in 2 games and the 8 games at the end of last season with Norwich. He looks like a hell of a player.
He certainly does. I'm here with Liam, Stephen, Kelly and Richie, and we're going to look now, Stephen, at some of the saves. I think this started out being a piece with 11 different saves on it from Gavin Bazunu, or 11 incidents. He was fantastic. Our player of the match, a star is born at 19.
Yeah, just all around, like the confidence that this young 19-year-old man shows in around the pitch, getting in positions, just body position, comes out, gets big, gets spread, is quick off his line. His passing ability, some of his passing at the game, he was as good a passer on the pitch as anybody, finding diagonal balls, coming here, making a count, a loud, commanding presence. As a defender, when you have a goalkeeper that comes out and shouts at you and calls you, takes crosses, he's just all around. I can't believe that we've unearthed this 19-year-old who's going to be a superstar all around the pitch. Every part of his game, he showed tonight that he's got quality in. Saves with his feet, saves with his hand. This one here, Mitrovic does extremely well, but his reaction is excellent. Bodies. And another comfortable thing is handling as it comes into him. So often he just takes the ball into his chest, drops into him, not a problem. And you know, everything that was thrown at him, this is the one blip on what was pretty much a flawless evening for him, and that's just a bit overzealous, gets his positioning wrong, comes out for it. But all in all, I just think he was absolutely fantastic. He kept us in the game for a lot of it. They had a lot of chances, but for me, he was the outstanding player. He probably has been for the course of these 3 games.
Yeah, Liam, and he's made 18 saves from 22 shots in 6 days, 3 separate matches.
No, he's been fantastic, and let's not forget he also saved the penalty from Ronaldo.
He'll have that forever. That's
forever,
on his CV forever.
Forever. What a pity he couldn't keep a clean sheet in Faro. But they had 10 shots on target to our 2, and I think that they'll be kicking themselves because they're a fine team, and they've let 3 points slip away here tonight.
And looking at Bazunu, I know we spoke, and a lot of people have spoken about the playing out from the back aspect. his distribution was fantastic. It didn't feel as risky as in some of the other matches.
What he has watching, and we keep a close eye on him here because we're so close to him. He's a very assured presence. Like he kind of walks around the box in a very assured, kind of confident, calming way. And when he is at the ball of the feet, there's no panic. There's no sense of rush.
Yeah, he doesn't do panic or rush.